In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the types of videos that work well on Facebook Live. And probably the most successful type of video on Facebook Live are how-tos. Now, when you're demonstrating how to do something live in real time, it can be really powerful, because lots of people are cynical when it comes to watching how-to videos on sites like YouTube or how-to programs on TV. They know that lots of editing and manipulation goes on behind the scenes, and so what you see is not always what you're going to get. There's a very popular program on UK television at the moment where they fix up old cars, and you can just tell that there's a whole lot of stuff that they're not showing you. The car always starts first time every time when they fixed it up, and you think to yourself, especially if you've had any experience of doing anything with cars, you know that things never actually work that smoothly, that they probably had to have umpteen different takes and lots of tweaking about to try and get that car to start up after they've installed the new engine. But of course, when you see it on the program, the guy puts the key in the ignition, turns the key, boom, away it goes. And you can get a bit cynical, so no, it probably really didn't happen exactly like that. But the thing is, when it's live, they see it being done in real time, and they'll be able to see how easy it really is, or how difficult it really is. You're not pulling any punches when it comes to showing things on Facebook Live. You see exactly what's going on. Now, of course, you'll want to practice a lot beforehand so that everything runs smoothly and you don't end up looking stupid if the engine really doesn't start. But because it's live, because people can actually see it being done in real time, it'll give people a lot more confidence in the thing that you're demonstrating, the how-to, because people will see that it is possible to do it. Another type of video that does very well on live streaming on Facebook Live is what's known as the Ask Me Anything video. And this is actually probably the simplest type of video to do, because all you've got to do is sit there and answer questions that your viewers submit to you via the app, and you simply answer them live on air. And this does several things. First of all, it can boost your credibility, and it can show that you really do know what you're talking about, because people can send you a question. You can say, here we have a question from such and such. He or she wants to know this, that, and the other. And then you can explain, and it really does show you as an expert. But of course, you want to make sure that you've boned up on the subject ahead of time, that you can anticipate a bit the sort of questions that people are going to ask you, so that you can answer the questions off the cuff and sound really knowledgeable. Another type of video that does well are countdowns. Now, you can build a buzz around your product launch by counting down how many days or hours there are until your product goes live, and you can reveal a different interesting fact every time. And this can be questions that people have submitted about it. You can perhaps build curiosity, show a little bit about your product, perhaps read a bit from your ebook if you're publishing an ebook. Just a little snippet every time, just to give people a little bit of information every time that they go and broadcast, or that you go and broadcast. And you can also reveal that your product is live via a Facebook live stream, and perhaps give viewers a discount coupon or a code at the launch that will ensure that the word spreads and that you get more viewers at future launches. And then there are interviews. And again, get people to submit questions via the app and get your guests to answer them live on air. And if you've ever watched chat shows on TV, you'll know that having a different guest to be interviewed every time keeps people coming back, because it keeps the content fresh, it keeps it different, it gives people a reason to keep coming back to watch. And of course, this is also a subtle way to do direct selling, as your guest can plug his or her product, and people can purchase it via your affiliate link. So yeah, there aren't very many ways to do direct selling on Facebook Live at the moment, but this is certainly one way that you can do it. And then there are debates and discussions. You can get lots of different people together. You can start to have a debate, and viewers can submit questions via the app and can contribute to the debate just as if they were there, really. So again, that's a very powerful way. It's a very powerful way of getting your message across, and it's something that people tune in and want to see. And these types of videos are actually quite popular. Then there are talks, people talking over lunch, over breakfast, while they're on the commute. If you're stuck on a train and it's the third time this week that the train's been late, well, you could shout out to your followers on Facebook and say, look, here, I'm stuck on the 8:15 again, and when are they going to do something about this? Commuters like a good old moan occasionally. And you can share your views with the world on any topic. Some people find the minutiae of other people's lives fascinating. And quite frankly, there's so little on Facebook Live right now that you're practically guaranteed an audience. And then there are Let's Plays for games. And in these sort of videos, you can reveal tactics for playing certain video games. You can show people how to get to the next level. You can share tactics. You can get feedback from other gamers. And you could perhaps have a gaming circle where each participant live streams from their perspective on a certain date and time, so that you can really interact with each other as well as with anyone who happens to be watching. And these sorts of videos are always popular. And then there are workouts. And if you're in the fitness niche, then this can really be a boon, because you're showing people exactly how it's done. And this can really boost your credibility, because people can see that you really do know what you're talking about. And it's like having a personal trainer come into people's homes. And of course, as you're doing the workouts, you can get feedback from viewers, you can get questions that you can answer in real time. So as I said, it does really build and boost your credibility. And of course, you can use it as a teaser for your next fitness video. You can say, I don't have time to demonstrate these other moves, but in my next video, blah, 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 blah. So you can see you can actually use that for sales purposes as well. And cooking and recipes are always popular. You can actually show someone in real time how to cook a particular dish. You can show them how the ingredients go together. There's no editing, so they'll know that the procedure that you're following is the exact procedure that they need to follow in order to get the same results. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that you can have as well. You can do things like product reviews. They're always very popular because you can actually demonstrate live on air how a particular product works. Then things like life hacks, tutorials, behind the scenes are very popular, especially in the business niche. You can see people at work. If you run a store, for example, or a shop, you can have that and people can see exactly what's going on at the time. A day in the life, you can broadcast at different times throughout the day and tell people what you're doing. And quite frankly, just about any subject you can think of is likely to be popular on Facebook Live, because it's so new. So although we've covered quite a few in this video, your idea could be the next one that really takes off. In this video, I'm going to talk you through how you can go about organizing a live-inar. Now, a live-inar is like a webinar, but it's held over Facebook Live. Now, the first thing to do is to decide on your topic. And the best way to do that is to simply ask your followers what they want to learn about. And you can do that ahead of time by emailing your list. You can post something on Facebook and get people to respond. You could perhaps mention it in a previous live stream that you're going to be doing a live webinar and what would you like to know about, and people can submit comments and you can come up with some ideas that way. But one thing that you should do is you want to keep the topic niche. You want to keep it nice and narrow, because you don't want to bore your audience. You don't want to drone on for too long. You can talk for up to 90 minutes, but quite frankly, I think you're going to start losing people's attention way before then. So you want to keep the topic niche. And of course, bear in mind that if people have lots of different things that they want to learn about, if your followers have lots of different things they want to learn about, you can do a separate live webinar on each one of those, and that gives people a reason to come back and keep following you and keep listening to your live streams or watching your live streams. You also need to pick a time and date that's convenient for your audience. Now, bear in mind, this is going to be going out live and your audience is going to be in different time zones. Now, of course, if you're aiming this at people who are all in one country, then that is probably easier than aiming it at a global audience. So, for example, if you're in the continental US, you've only got 4 time zones to worry about. If you're in the UK, you've only got 1 time zone to worry about. So that sort of thing. Whereas if you're going for a global audience, then you've got 24 different time zones to worry about. So you do need to make sure that you are going out at a time that your audience can tune in and watch. And you want to do your homework. You want to research your topic thoroughly. You want to find out all that there is to know about it, because after all, when you're doing a live webinar, you're the expert. If you're doing a live webinar with another person, then you'll have to be in the same place at the same time. It's not like if you're doing a webinar where you can be in separate places and you can talk to each other via the internet, because if you're doing a live webinar, it's going to have to be filmed on your smartphone. So you're going to have to be physically in the same place at the same time. So you can go to them, they can come to you, or you can meet them somewhere and do your live webinar at a place that's convenient for both of you. Whatever you decide to do, you want to hold your live webinar somewhere quiet with a good Wi-Fi or 4G signal. So you want to check out the venue ahead of time. If it's not going to be in your home or your office, you want to make sure that if you're going to meet someone somewhere else, or you're going to go to their office or their home, that there is a good Wi-Fi signal. And you want to make sure that the set looks tidy and that the lighting is done properly. Because bear in mind that people are going to be looking at the set the whole time that you're on camera. So you want to make sure that there's nothing out of place, because you don't want anything to distract from you or your guest and the message that you're putting across. And the same goes for the lighting, because if it looks amateurish, then that's going to put people off. You want to have the same sort of lighting that people will get if they see you on TV or if they go to the movies. And ideally, what you want to aim for is what's known as Rembrandt lighting. And this is the sort of lighting techniques that Rembrandt used in his pictures. And you can see from his self-portrait here that the way that he's painted it is that the light is stronger on one side of his face than on the other. And that's the sort of technique that you want to reproduce in your videos. And something else you want to do is have an agenda to work through. And this will ensure that you move smoothly through the presentation and you don't miss anything out. So you could have note cards or cue cards, or just simply a piece of paper with the schedule written through it, the agenda, so that you know that you're going to be covering this topic first, and then that topic, and then the other topic, and that sort of thing. And of course, you want to rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. You want to make sure that your delivery is perfect. You don't want to be hesitating. You don't want a lot of ums and ahs and that sort of thing, because it just sounds very unprofessional. So you want to make sure that you at least sound like you know what you're talking about and you look like you know what you're talking about. Because if you're nervous, if you don't really come across as being confident, then that is going to spoil your presentation. So you want to practice your delivery in the mirror until you're confident about giving a polished performance. So go somewhere private and practice just talking to yourself in the mirror. It feels a bit strange when you first do it, but that is the best way to find out exactly how you're going to come across. Or, of course, if you have a video camera, you can video yourself talking to camera and play it back and watch it. But do bear in mind, though, that this is going to be going out live, so any mistakes are not going to be able to be edited out, unlike on video. And then you want to get the word out about your livenar. And there are lots of different ways that you can do that. On Facebook, of course, you can let your Facebook friends and your followers know that you're going to be holding this livenar. And you can use other social media as well. Twitter is a good way because you can simply send out a short message to your Twitter followers. And also LinkedIn, if you're aiming at a business niche. Lots of people who have a presence on LinkedIn also have a presence on Facebook for their business. So you can work the two together and get the word out that way. Of course, your mailing list is probably the best way to get the word out. Everyone who's subscribed to your newsletter, everyone who's bought a product from you, you want to let them know about your livenar. And also your blog subscribers. Anyone who's subscribing to your blog, you can put a post in your blog to tell people that you're going to be holding this livenar and when, and give them instructions as to how they can sign up and how they can watch it. You also want to remind people in the days and hours running up to your livenar that it's going to go ahead and give them the date and the time. And again, because Facebook Live is so new and lots of people won't have heard about it, you'll have to remind people how they can tune in and watch it. Something else as well that you want to have is a Q&A as part of your livenar. You can get people to submit questions to you via the app, and you can answer them in real time. And it's a good idea to mention them by name. Here we've got a question from Fred, or here we've got a question from Jane, and answer them in real time and quote them. And that can really tie you and the audience together, and people really do like that. Something else that you can do finally is you can record your livenar, and you can post the video on your Facebook timeline, and you can also post it on YouTube and other video sharing sites. But if you do that, you want to be sure to edit something out, and you want to make sure that people know it's been edited out, because this will give them an incentive to tune in and watch your next livenar live. So you don't give them everything when they tune in and watch your video off of a site like YouTube. So that will encourage people to actually tune in and follow you on Facebook and watch your next livenar. So there you go. You could very well be one of the first people in your niche to hold a livenar, and I wish you every success.